Hello, I'm Deb Keyes with Stampin' on the Hill. Welcome and thank you for joining me. I'm going to make it's an origami tree fun fold. So let's just get started. Let me move you down to my hands here a sec. And I am using a bunch of stuff. I'm using cherry cobbler ink and cardstock. I've got the two different sizes, the largest two sizes of the textured notes rectangles. Of course, our product of the month is the Christmas Tags and More Designer Series paper. So I'm using this, I'm going to use the plaid side. And I am going to make my card base with just, it's going to go this way. So I guess it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. So let's get this going. I have a few notes. Grab my phone folder here. A few notes about things that I want to remember to tell you. So one of them is about the new packaging. We're using the banner sayings, and this is my first stamp set that I got that is using the new packaging. So the new packaging consists of all of the packaging is going to be the same. So the stamps are going to come in an envelope like this. This is 5 5/8 by 9. All right. And then, so all of the stamps, we're not going to have red rubber stamps anymore. I believe I've mentioned that before, but this is what your stamp set's going to look like. I have one off of here already. So these just fit in here, and then it's large enough, the dies, if there were dies included or as a bundle with this, the packaging for the dies would be the same. So realistically, you could take your dies out of, or the stamps, whichever, you could take your dies out of their respective envelope and keep everything all together in one envelope. And that way your dies and your stamps would all be together. I like to see what my options are for my dies. So I actually have them displayed on a board, but so I'm still going to work with however this new packaging is coming, and hopefully I'll have some more tips for you soon as I get a better feel for how I'm going to use them. But I wanted to mention that. And all right, so let me bring in we're just going to make a frame. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And of course I have the typical, because we're die cutting, I've got the typical plate number 1, plate number 2, my chewed up plate number 3, and then I taped these together already just to save us some time with me aligning them. But realistically, it doesn't matter to me that they're aligned straight on like the page necessarily. My alignment is more about the space between the two dies and how that is pretty consistent. So I'm fine with this. And then another plate 3 on the top of that. We'll just run this through. And yep, the cracking is normal. Don't panic. All right, so let's pull. So this was just like a quarter sheet, and that works, of the cherry cobbler or not DSP, cherry cobbler cardstock. So all we're really looking for is to make a frame. So you can make your frame however you want. I can use this piece in the center for something else. It's got a cute little design on it. Can you see it at all? Not exactly. Okay. You can kind of see the design a little bit on there. Yeah. Okay. So I can use this piece for another something. We'll get the trash out of the way. But this frame is what I really wanted to use. So there's a frame. So we're going to end up just putting the frame right on here. We can do that first, but I think what I'm going to do is stamp my greeting on the inside first. So I'm just using cherry cobbler, and I like to stamp my greetings first on the inside because if I mess it up, I still have an opportunity to flip it inside out and then cover it up on the front. So I could make it the front if I really needed to. So we're wishing you good things. Stamp it straight down, don't wiggle, stamp it straight back up. Perfect. I love it when a plan comes together easily. Okay, so now that we have the wishing you good things, I just opened this, or I just started to use my glue and thought to myself, oh my goodness, I didn't try this first today, so let's see if it works. Oh, look at that. It's going to be a good day when the glue works first thing, right? All right, so this has had plenty of time to dry. We're going to just add the frame right, kind of center it on the front here. I'm okay with that. All right, set this aside. I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and we're going to take our 6x6 and we are going to cut this into, I'm going to first cut it into half, so a third, or maybe, I'm sorry, 3 inches. So I'm going to cut a 3-inch piece, and that's going to be my largest piece that we're going to work with, is 3 inches. Okay, so then I need one at 2.5 inches, 2.5 by 2.5, and then we're also going to have, let's do it this way. We're going to do a 2-inch piece, 2 by 2. And then this should be 1 inch, and we want, oh no, that's not right. We want it 1.5. Yep. All right, so 1.5. Whoops, wrong blade. 1.5 by 1.5. All right. So we've got a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5, and a 3. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. And you're going to probably want a bone folder for this. Make sure the edges are nice and crisp. And get them straight at the same time here, Deb. Okay. Then I'm going to fold it in half again this way. And then we're going to fold it corner to corner. And open it and fold it the other way, corner to corner. And let's see here. Okay, so now we're going to fold it inward. So we're going to fold the 2 sides in, and we're making a triangle. All right. Let me close this up and I'll try it again for you. All right. So you have all these crease marks in it. So you're going to fold the top down to the bottom and tuck the sides in. Okay. So it makes a triangle. Then all we're going to do is using this. Can you see the line right here? There's that fold line from when it went like this. Okay. We're going to fold the top down to here, to the center. And we're going to crease that. And then we're going to fold the other one down to the center. So the 2 front corners will meet here. Okay. Now, this is kind of thick at this point, but there's where we have it. Okay, so this is one piece. We're going to continue this with all of the rest. Okay, as you can see, as we got smaller and smaller, it was a little bit tougher to put it all together. But what we're going to do is we're going to put these together like this. Okay, so I'm going to start with the bottom one, and I'm going to just put a little glue on the back side of the top point, and I'm going to slide it into the inside of the next size up. And then I'm going to kind of give it just a, I'm not doing like exact measurements. I suppose you could, but I'm not. I'm just kind of eyeballing how far apart I want them. So you're not going to stick them like right straight down on top of one another all the way, because then you would have a very squatty looking tree. But then we'll take this and add a little glue to this one. And this goes right onto the inside of this. And then I'm going to kind of eyeball my spacing between this point and down. All right. And then we're going to add the last one. Being careful that, this is so small, there's not a lot of space to add your glue. So don't use a ton or it's going to come squirting out at you. So then there's our Christmas tree. And I'm just going to use this is about 1.5 by about a half an inch. Yes, half an inch by about 1.5. And I'm just going to use this as the tree trunk. So I'm going to just glue a little bit of this. We're going to stick that right in the bottom. I want to be able to see a little bit of the trunk once it's down. And then we're going to glue this right down to here. So let's get that going. All right. Little glue, and I'm just centering it, and I'm bringing it all the way down to the bottom of my frame. And then I'm just eyeballing where the center is. And we'll give that a good press. I like to turn my projects over sometimes so that if I happen to have ink on my hands, I don't get it on the front of my card. There's we'll have to grab an adhesive remover and get that off in the back, but that's okay. I have some, this is retired, but this is cherry cobbler and gold satin ribbon. And I have just a little piece here that I'm going to just make some bunny ears with. You could use a star if you wanted. I thought about just putting a star on it. Okay. My hands have a little bit of glue on them, so they're not working as well as I had hoped. All right. Get this together here. I don't want it to be too huge, but it needed something at the top, don't you think? I guess it doesn't. The star would be cute. Just don't want it to be so overbearing. There we go. All right. And then I actually brought my ribbon scissors this time. So we will just make these about the same length, and I'm eyeballing that. And I have some glue dots. These are actually left over from a kit. There's always leftover stuff from a kit, so I'm just going to use those up while I can. We're going to put a glue dot here, pull the backer off of it, and then glue our bow right down to the top. So there is our cute card. And it's kind of three-dimensional. All right. I have a tip to share with you, though. I know that this is really thick. So I usually will take some of my backer from my designer series paper. You can see a little bit of it there. And I cut it all up into pieces, and I use it for various things. This is one of the things I use it for. Because if I can put this in here over the top to hold it still, because, you know, the post office doesn't like things that are bulky. Or I use this too for when I put like gems or something on there, because the post office doesn't like that either. So I'll put a piece of this chipboard on it, and I'll stick it in my envelope. And then if you bring your trimmer back in, you can use this guide, is 1/4 of an inch, which is the standard for it to go through the post office. And you can slide this through. This is the part where the actual the blades run through. So if you slide this through here, and if it goes through, this one gets a little bit stuck. I barely got it through. You might try that through the post office, but you might want to add extra postage to that. So if you're doing your Christmas cards and they're bulky this year, there's a tip for you. Make sure they go through the post office, because otherwise it stinks to get them back as undeliverable, because the post office wouldn't process them for you. Okay, well, let's see. I hope that this was fun for you, because it was fun for me. Um, I will have the measurements on my blog, but if you prefer to have written instructions for this, I have a free written tutorial for anybody who goes online and spends $20 or more in my online store. And speaking of which, this I'm also doing a BOGO sale for Black Friday. And you can't, so for every dollar that you spend in my online sale, you can choose the equivalent amount of product that is in my what's it called, the SU retirement sale. It's on Facebook in my photos under albums. It's called SU retirement sale, I believe. Anyway, you can choose things from in there, which is equivalent to your online purchase. Or if you spend a minimum of $60, you can get one of my mystery boxes, which has at least $200 worth of stuff in there. There's at least 5 stamp sets. And if there are punches or dies that go with those stamp sets, they're included as well. Plus some paper. Sometimes there's ink in there. I just started throwing stuff in boxes, but there's at least $200 to $250 worth of stuff in those boxes. So if you spend a minimum of $60 online, I'll send you a box for free. So there's a good deal for you. Anyway, next week, I'm going to teach you a technique that adds dimension to your project with only some ink and paper. So join me then. Until next time, thanks for watching.